You take a punch with your mind, and you give a punch with your mind. Bring it on. This is the story of Melvin Mello Alexandria, an 80-year-old African-American former actor, boxer, and stuntman with more than 20 years in the industry. Growing up on that plantation in Shreveport, Louisiana, Mello witnessed a lot of segregation and racism. The KKK were very present in his community, and he had to learn how to defend himself from the time he was a young boy. He witnessed unspeakable things that happened to his father, things that would turn a boy into a man long before he was ready. See, Melvin's family, they wanted him to leave the area for his safety. So as a teenager, Mello made the move to California, where his family had relatives who would look after him. And one fateful day, when Mello was 18, he saw a defenseless man being picked on by 3 other men. He did what we all would do. Probably not really. He approached the 3 men at the same time, warning them to leave the man alone or suffer the consequences of their actions. Now, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, they must have thought Mello was crazy, right? It was him against 3 others, but they actually ran off. And there was a man nearby who witnessed this interaction. He saw the fighting spirit in Mello, so he took him on and he became his manager. He got Mello into boxing, booked all his fights, took care of all the money. Boxing flat out saved Mello's life. See, he wanted to emulate his idol, Jack Johnson, the first African-American world heavyweight champion. Nicknamed the Galveston Giant, at the height of the Jim Crow era, Jack Johnson was considered the most famous and most notorious African-American man on the earth. Mello's boxing, well, it took him to almost every continent. His travels were his education, meeting different people, different cultures, different walks of life. And then he wound up living in Las Vegas, where most of his matches took place. But over time, Mello's manager started telling him to throw his boxing matches. And something Jack Johnson would never do. And it ate Mello up. And by the time he realized that his manager wasn't legit, all of Mello's prize money was gone. He never saw a dime. He was used. It was the knockout blow, and Mello lost everything. Now, he was down for the count, but he wasn't out because he still has his dignity. He did what all good fighters do. He got back up, ready to keep swinging, to keep dreaming. He found his next calling in life. He became a sparring partner for George Foreman, a boxing coach for Mike Tyson. And, you know, when you hang with Mike Tyson and George Foreman, you're introduced to famous Hollywood people, agents, of course. And he ended up getting one. And he landed several gigs as an extra in boxing movies. He ended up training some of Hollywood's leading actors when they needed to look convincing, like boxers in their films. I've done that before. He went on to become a stuntman. And if you look Mello up on IMDb, his credits include movies and TV shows as diverse as Cagney and Lacey, THX 1138, and Predator 2. Now, once Mello's career in Hollywood came to an end, he needed some help. He was aging and unable to truly care for himself. You see, Mello never married or had kids, so in June of 2012, Cynthia O, Mello's friend and power of attorney, called MPTF, asking about financial assistance and home safety. At the time, he was about to return home after a surgical procedure and needed a home assessment to make sure everything was safe. MPTF provided financial assistance to pay for grab bars and other modifications. Mello's MPTF social worker, Janie Grauman, worked with Cynthia to find an appropriate assisted living facility, which he eventually moved into in June of 2016. Once the facility was set up, Cynthia stepped out of Mello's life, leaving him with nobody in his corner. Mello was heartbroken that Cynthia was gone. heartbroken that he was on his own again. But as part of the services MPTF provided, a social worker intern worked with Mello on a weekly basis to help him deal with the loss of his friend and provide closure. Mello needed a new corner man. Let's take it back to boxing. Enter Jerry, Mello's current MPTF social worker. He's been working with Mello for 2 years, meeting up once a month, providing emotional support, and keeping Mello in the fight. Jerry recently helped find a new power of attorney to manage Mello's finances. He's also counseling Mello on end-of-life decisions and planning. Jerry's an advocate, champion, and much-needed friend for Mello. Mello now lives on a small fixed income. Other than Jerry, he no longer has family or friends actively involved in his life, but he knows he has MPTF in his corner, providing monthly financial support towards the cost of his assisted living facility, allowing him the dignity to live as independently as possible. Like all of us in 2018, Mello loves talking about politics, talking about his travels, his time in the ring. He loves meeting different people, engaging with people all over the world, always treating them with respect. He learned that early from his mother. These days, Mello uses a walker to get around. He has to fight through a lot of pain. But that Jack Johnson spirit and his boxer mentality, it allows him to push right through it. On the ropes maybe, but never out. Thanks to MPTF, and at the young age of 80, Mello is throwing his hat back in the ring. When we asked him about taking part in an upcoming film about his idol, Jack Johnson, he told us, you take a punch with your mind, and you give a punch with your mind. Bring it on. Mello, my friend, you are a star, and sharing your story with us, we have this token of appreciation. A star, but not just any star, a star that anyone can see. Not one of those sidewalk stars covered in gum and footprints. You don't want that, man. But a great, big, shining star that was born before us and will exist long after us. This star, shining brightly between Ursa Major and Leo, belongs to you.